Gennady Mikosevich, the volunteer officer killer. Between 1971 and 1985, the city of Vitebsk in the Soviet Union was terrorized by a serial killer targeting young women. 36 women were confirmed murdered, though the real number may be closer to 60. They were raped, strangled, and left in various locations around the city. The police had suspects, they had confessions, they even had convictions. There was just one problem. They had the wrong people. Gennady Mikosevich was a volunteer police officer, a member of the Voluntary People's Druzhina, a citizen patrol organization in the USSR. He was often assigned to investigate the very murders he'd committed. He'd interview suspects, handle evidence, and participate in case discussions. And when the pressure mounted to solve the crimes, he helped ensure other men took the fall. 13 innocent men were arrested and convicted for Mikosevich's murders. 12 were sent to forced labor camps in Siberia, brutal gulags where many died. One man was tortured into confessing, then executed by firing squad for a crime he didn't commit. Mikosevich watched it all happen and said nothing. He kept killing. What makes Mikosevich's case particularly horrifying is how he manipulated the Soviet justice system. He knew exactly how investigations worked, how confessions were obtained, how cases were built. He used that knowledge to frame others, to deflect suspicion, and to continue his crimes for 14 years. But eventually, investigators began to notice patterns. Despite having different suspects in custody, the murders continued. The methods were too similar, too consistent to be the work of multiple killers. Someone realized that all these crimes had to be connected, committed by a single person. Worried that he was about to be discovered, Mikosevich tried one last manipulation. He sent an anonymous letter to police, signed Patriot of Vitebsk, claiming that the murders were the result of the corruption of Soviet society. He thought this would throw investigators off his trail, or make them dismiss the cases as political rather than criminal. It backfired spectacularly. Police began analyzing handwriting samples from every man in the region. They compared the anonymous letter to writing samples from over 500,000 males in the oblast. The analysis pointed directly to Gennady Mikosevich. When confronted with the evidence, Mikosevich confessed. He admitted to 36 murders and described how he'd used his position as a volunteer officer to commit the crimes and cover his tracks. He showed no remorse for the innocent men he'd sent to labor camps, or the one who'd been executed. Mikosevich was sentenced to death and sent to prison. Reports indicate he committed suicide while awaiting execution, though some accounts suggest he may have been killed by other inmates or guards who were disgusted by his crimes and his betrayal of the badge. His case became the first serial killer case publicly acknowledged by Soviet state media. For years, the USSR had denied that serial killers even existed within their borders, claiming such crimes were a product of capitalist society. Mikosevich's arrest and confession shattered that propaganda and revealed the deep corruption within Soviet law enforcement. At least 36 families lost daughters, sisters, and mothers to a man who wore a police uniform. And 13 innocent men had their lives destroyed by that same man, sent to gulags, or executed for crimes they never committed. Justice came too late for all.